able to contribute towards a global framework and more justice at global level. But this treaty is also a response to the challenge of improving the efficiency of the decision-making process. Over the last 50 years, we have always known that the European project would gain legitimacy through its achievements. And it's only a Europe that is able to take decisions that will be able to achieve results. Europe wants to be an open economy. Europe wants to rise to the challenge of global competitiveness, an economy based on skills and qualifications, research and innovation, based on economic growth that generates jobs and is environmentally friendly, based on a more efficient energy policy that is able to combat climate change. In all these areas, the Treaty of Lisbon makes decision-making more flexible. It increases the number of decisions by qualified majority. It broadens the democratic participation of the European Parliament. It enhances the role of our national parliaments, and it safeguards, rightly, the central role of the European Commission and the European judicial system. But the Treaty of Lisbon also defines a new institutional architecture, a new permanent president of the European Council, a high representative for foreign policy and defence, a new composition for the Commission and a strengthening of its democratic legitimacy, a new weighting system for voting in the Council. These changes represent a new balance between states and provide for a better functioning of the institutions. And this improvement gives Europe new conditions for making its voice heard, new conditions for strengthening its economy, and new conditions for asserting its values. The Treaty of Lisbon includes the best of the tradition and the heritage of the European project. But this treaty is not a treaty for the past. This is a treaty for the future. It is the treaty for building a Europe that is more modern, more efficient, and more democratic. Ladies and gentlemen, for the Portuguese people, this ceremony signifies a return to the monastery of the Jerónimos. It was here in 1985 that Portugal signed the Treaty of Accession to the European project. It is here that Portugal became part of the European family. I would like you to know that it is an honour for my country that we are signing the new treaty for the future of Europe here in the same place. And it is an even greater honour that the treaty will be known as the Treaty of Lisbon, the city where the 27 member states sealed their political agreement on the treaty. Lisbon has always been a city of openness, a meeting place. The history of Lisbon is, of course, also the history of the discoveries which are evoked by this monument. But with the Treaty of Lisbon, the city will also be bound to the history of the European project. And it's a great honour for Portugal and for Lisbon. Ladies and gentlemen, this treaty is not the end of history. History never ends. There's always more history to write about. But this treaty is a new stage in the European adventure. It's a new moment in the building of Europe. And we look forward to that future as positively as ever, sure of our values, confident in our project and strengthened by our union in the service of a stronger Europe. Thank you very much indeed.
Chamamos agora.
I would now like to call on the President of the European Commission, José Manuel Durão Barroso.
Senhor Presidente.
President of Council, Heads of State and Government, President of the European Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Lisbon, which so often has been a meeting point between Europe and the world, today is a meeting point where Europe comes together with itself. The Treaty of Lisbon is the result of this process. From this old continent, a new Europe is born. A Europe which today is enlarged to 27 member states, reunited around freedom and democracy. By resolving its institutional issues, the European Union is preparing itself to serve its citizens better and to address global issues. For a long time now, Europe has no longer been the centre of the world. Indeed, I would doubt that the world today has a genuine centre. But the Treaty of Lisbon gives us the capacity to act. If we combine that with the political will to act, Europe will be better placed than any other country or group of countries, not to impose, but to propose the global solutions of which the world has such pressing need. My Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, by signing the Treaty of Lisbon, we end 6 years of debate on our institutions. I wish to pay tribute to the commitment of all governments and the European Parliament throughout the Intergovernmental Conference. The Commission, faithful to its role of embodying the general interest in Europe, is also proud of the momentum it has created in this process. May I also take this opportunity of stressing the exceptional contribution of the German Presidency of Council, Chancellor Angela Merkel, who, following on from the Berlin Declaration, achieved agreement of member states on the mandate for the Intergovernmental Conference. And I should also like to pay tribute to the competence and determination of the Portuguese Presidents of Council and Prime Minister José Sócrates, who have made this Treaty of Lisbon possible. To achieve this result, all governments have demonstrated political courage. I call upon you now to show the same determination through the process of ratification. It is of particular importance that we explain what the added value of the treaty is, the efficiency gains it will bring for our decision-making process, the increase in democracy for our institutions, and the potential to ensure that our external actions are more consistent. But now it is time to move on. Europe has other challenges to meet, both within and out with Europe, and our citizens are looking for concrete results. And globalization is the common denominator to all of these challenges. If we wish our Europeans to enjoy prosperity and social justice, freedom and security, the European Union must have a decisive capacity to act on the world stage. If we want an international order made up of open and just societies and economies, collective security, good governance, human rights and sustainable development to guarantee the future of our planet, above all in the face of the major challenge of climate change, then Europe requires the right